Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. It's Monday, May 22nd. Tommy and I only messed this whole thing up this morning. I can't find anything. All right. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, YouTube, Twitter, more. This morning's guest, once again, really we should just call it almost a semi-permanent co-host, Eric Ballard. Good morning, Eric.
Morning, Stephen.
Boy, we are half awake this morning.
Yeah, half awake.
Eric was at Pacific Districts.
Northern Plains.
Plains, I'm sorry.
Northern Plains District, yeah.
So you said there's 500 kids there?
550 some kids between boys and girls spending a week in Grand Forks, North Dakota to get onto a regional or national camp. It was a great weekend.
Great for the kids. I'm sure it's a lot of kids to kind of sift through to find your gold in the pan there.
Yeah, it's we do a good job of bringing in a ton of evaluators, former NHL, NCAA, Division I, Division III coaches, current coaches now. So the staff is really, really good. So, no, it was a great weekend of hockey, just you cram it in between Thursday and Sunday and then try to fly back. That's why I'm half awake. That's why I'm having coffee.
Well, it's a little earlier for you. For the last 3 days, we've had the Saudi Arabian Ministry of Space in our cars, about 25 SUVs, my S-Class, a couple other S-Classes, but I had the principal. It's been a crazy 3 days, last day today. Then I come home and have to watch the Robertson Cup battles. That was interesting. Got to watch the game yesterday somewhat from the car on my phone. It was between trips, so I was getting excited for the Austin Bruins. Watch Steve Howard take that game Sunday to take the series. Very interesting weekend.
I bet. Yeah, it looks like it's been a good weekend of hockey for the Robbie.
So, Tommy reset my phone so I know where the hell I'm at now. The majority of North American Hockey League fans rarely remember what team was beaten by the Robertson Cup champions for more than a few seasons afterwards. Eric, can you remember who? We know who was second place last year because we're both have ties to Alaska. But 2 years ago, who was the second place team on the Robbie? Do you remember?
2 years ago? Oh, boy. I don't know. Maybe Aberdeen won it, I think, 2 years ago.
See, it's not a matter of disrespect. It's just the reality of being number two. Few folks really care. The only two that make really is the most important number two we take care of in the bathroom, right? So, and it's not a bad thing. But the same goes for the runner-up in just about every major sport, in every competition. Here's one. Quick. Who did President Obama beat to win his first and second presidential elections? Remember that one, Eric?
No, I'm not a politician, so I couldn't tell you.
But that's the case of most Americans, right? We just really don't follow. We know that he was the president. I'm sure 10,000 of you guys are going to come back and say you guys are stupid. But really, I'm not really sure. I want to say Dan Quayle for some reason, but I think he lost to Bush. So that just tells you where we are. We don't really follow or care about second place. Number two really does not matter.
Who was it? Do you know?
No. Yeah. Sure, the second place team may get to hang a banner, but there's more pain in doing that than it's really even worth. Eric, we've been doing this a long time. Is it really great to hang runner-up banners in the rafters?
It depends. That's a trick question, I think. Everybody wants to be the top, but if you've come from, taking case Omaha Lancers first year in the USHL, where they go 0-64, You would get a runner-up banner the next year if they did. I mean, it might be worth it, but I think it's all case by case. I think everybody focuses just on the winner most of the time. But there's a lot of small victories on the way, regardless if you are the top or second place.
Wolverines last year, their first year with Mike Aiken. I'm very close to that team. So, yes, that one kind of felt pretty good, but I don't really think that 5 years from now, most people are going to remember that happened. Not outside of Anchorage, Alaska.
Or Mike Aikens. I mean, it catapulted his career back into the good orbit. He was out for years, coaching Tier 3 and jumping around here and there, and now look where he's at. He's at St. Thomas, right? NCAA D1.
St. Lawrence.
Or St. Lawrence? No, St. Thomas. Isn't it Minnesota?
No, St. Lawrence. He's back east.
Okay, well, even better yet. So, I think that those things should be rewarded and celebrated for sure, because Mike's a great guy. We've known Mike forever. And back in the old America West hockey days and USHL days and the old Rochester Mustangs group. And it's I don't know if there's a banner, but I bet you Mike remembers that year.
Oh, absolutely. So the Austin Bruins will face off against the Oklahoma Warriors tomorrow night. And neither one of these teams are going to be very happy about going home with participation ribbons. They want to win the championship. Both teams are hungry for it because they understand second place is the first loser. And that's hard to say because it's a hell of an accomplishment to get to that final game. But I can promise you, nobody is going to be happy going home, the loser from that game tomorrow night. Eric?
Yeah, I think it's a long season for those young men and the coaching staff and the ownership. I mean, the North American Hockey League, like the USHL, it's just a long season. So this culmination for both those clubs, you're right. There's going to be, I'll tell you right now, it'd be a really good game to be a part of live. That's for sure. I think it's going to be they're going to be trading punches for 60 minutes plus.
Absolutely. The Warriors have been all about the W's this season. They captured a regular season league championship with 44 wins before going 8-0 while sweeping 3 different teams in the playoffs. The 4-2, 3-1 sweep of the Minnesota Wilderness in the semifinal was epic. Display of power considering how well coached the Midwest Division champions really are and Brett Skinner. That was a heck of a series. I was shocked that Oklahoma went through the Wilderness that easily. What do you think, Eric?
Again, I said it once, I think in the show earlier, Garrett Roth has been, he's a journeyman in this league. And you don't take anything away from Coach Skinner and Wilderness, but Garrett's, he's been primed to be a head coach for many, many years. He's seen the different sides and different perspectives and different angles. So I think his elevation has given that team the opportunity to kind of take care of business. And, it sounds like the Oklahoma team is they're all good, but it sounds like Coach Roth has got those guys primed.
We featured the Warriors last week in one of the shows with Anthony Bone. Bone was a coach at El Paso last season, before this year. And, Anthony, we talked about what Garrett has been able to do there so much differently than what he really saw working in Bismarck with Wayne Sedemi. He really put his own personal touch on this team. It's built in his image, the way he plays and the way he likes to play in his style. And it's interesting when coaches move from one program to the next or finally get the job as a head coach, how much of a stamp they put on their own teams.
Yeah, I think in any level, once you become that head guy, you take all those years of knowledge and experience and mentorship from previous head coaches. And I think each team is a direct reflection of who the coach is. And I haven't seen the Oklahoma Warriors play, but I'm guessing they play a lot like Garrett's demeanor, where, real calm, real collected, not a lot of peaks and valleys, but business all day long. So, like I said, I think, like I said, Garrett's a good friend, and he's been a journeyman in the league for a long time. I'm just really excited for him, both him and Steve Howard. It's great to see those two guys getting ready to duke it out.
Austin's path was not as easy Still pretty strong. 8-1-1 over 10 games in the playoffs. Those challenges may come in handy during Tuesday's battle with the Okies. The Bruins took one on the chin while getting all but completely snubbed by a hot goalie in Saturday's 2-1 loss to the Maryland. Maryland had a good season, and that group is Black Bear Sports. They won the cup with Youngstown in the USHL, and Austin was able to shut that down on Sunday. Regardless of the disappointing loss on Saturday, Austin managed to double up the Black Bears Sunday to reach the Tuesday's final. Eric, Steve Howard doesn't get too excited. Yeah, I've seen him get excited on the bench a few times. But in general, he's always going to do the right things for the right reasons. He's a hell of a hockey guy. He's been around for a long time as a player, as a coach. You got to like what he did with this Bruins team this year.
There's no question. Howie's been around the game a long time, like you said, as a player and a coach. But I think, again, you got two very seasoned coaches. Howie spent some time in the USHL in Waterloo and now with Austin. And he's been all over the place in a good way. And his demeanor is a lot like Garrett's. It's going to be a chess match. This isn't going to be a lot of, high octane smash mouth like the old Tony Curtali days. This is going to be a little more of a chess match. They're gonna go back and forth in a good way, and you've got two extremely seasoned, experienced coaches squaring off for the Robbie. I think again, it'd be great to be in the building. I might have to set some time aside to watch that one live.
Absolutely. So, who do we think is going to hoist the cup? I'm not going to tell you that until tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you until tomorrow. You got to come back tomorrow. Maybe we'll get Eric back on if I can squeeze his head a little bit. And we're going to tell you who our prediction is. And if he won't get on the show, we're going to text him and tell him. He'll give me an answer.
I'll get on the show with you.
First, I'll pick the other team no matter what. But I think he's going to pick the Warriors. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. But until then, enjoy your morning coffee.